What was your reaction?
Definitely, Kenneth. This is an economic loss. It's an environmental impact that we are seeing. That our drainage system has been put to test. It's a challenge right now. The pressures on the system, on the city, on the infrastructure, the population growth, but also the abuse of the environmental space definitely is responsible for this. And the traders, this is not going to keep happening every other time that it rains, every other season that it rains, because we know what should be done. Kampala has a drainage master plan, and there are several initiatives that are being done to fix this. However, we also see that there are some disastrous things happening, events, activities that obviously you see that the water is being blocked somewhere, and the ecosystem is being destabilized. This is going to affect business. You see, in the first case, we think that we are doing it for business. We are doing it to beautify the city. But the disaster, the destruction that is happening is quite big. And it's so unfortunate that people are losing money. They are making losses, economic losses, but also lives at a risk. You know, so when we are trying to seek a balance between orderliness, between development, growth, we need to be very careful about the decisions we make regarding the environmental aspect, especially in terms of land use location. Are those businesses in the right place? If they are, how is the drainage system? How is it operating? Why is it getting worse? We all know that there is the aspect of climate change happening right now globally, but we also know that we have a situation of abuse of infrastructure and non-compliance and enforcement. So for me, when I see this happen, it's not a surprise right now. In fact, it should be expected every other time. This is not the first time we are discussing this issue, and it's getting worse. You saw what was happening also in Nairobi. There's the climate change aspect, but also the capital. Our capital is overwhelmed right now, and unfortunately, the downtown area is going to be continuously the most affected because of the terrain, the locational factor. It will be the water catchment area. Then, of course, you know, the natural channel function connecting to the Lubiji, etc. The water flow, it will be difficult. Then the road construction works we are doing, we need to factor in the flow of water. Where is it? Where are the culverts? Where are the bridges? The drainage. Where is there an integrated drainage system that we are following, or we are just doing superficial beautification? But the citizens also should know, because when you see what is coming out of those of the channels, it is waste, solid waste, and this really affects these people, the traders, and most likely this is coming also from the traders, the generation of this waste, but also the other citizens. So it's of course very painful, and it can be avoided. It's really big. It's a big issue for us to discuss and ensure that we are growing economically. We have the revenue that is being generated from these commercial establishments, but we also see them sustaining and growing their businesses, because this takes us backwards actually.
All right. You talked about downtown and the challenges that are there, but equally you also said that our city is overwhelmed. Let's just look at, in terms of planning, the structures that are downtown, the malls. You talked about some artificial issues that are coming up, and I think you're hinting on the drainage channel, the construction that is going on the drainage channel. In terms of planning, when you look at that side of town, are we doing the right thing? Looking at the levels, do you call it topology or something like that? Are we doing the right things?
I think I wouldn't want to dwell so much on one location, because everything is integrated. You see, the city, especially if it's a capital, and it has been under this pressure over time. When you look at it, you need to look at it as a system, just the way we look at the body, the heart. Where's the heart of this city? Where would you locate it? I think it's downtown. and you have the breathing spaces, you have the brain, you have the every organ of our body is supposed to be in its good form. So
why would you put the heart downtown? I thought
what does the heart
in
do?
Upscale areas.
Where does it pump? Where do you see the pumping happening in this city, in our capital?
In terms of what? Resources, population?
Resources, population, the public transport hub, the connectivity to the different regions. Where do you see the heart of our capital? And I'm talking about Kampala Capital City, with the geographical and governance jurisdiction. Of course, right now with the sprawl, we are bigger than that, and that's also another problem. So the system of the city, it's a connection of land uses, housing, markets, drainage, transportation, or connectivity, and then you have that stiff competition also to protect nature, the water flow, the ecosystem, and you also have the investors that you need for economic growth, for job creation. But these investors, how do you balance? How do you guide them? How do they fit in the bigger picture? You cannot look at location by location. The mistake that I see majorly in this issue is how was it connected to the bigger plan, drainage master plan? Is the natural channel rehabilitation or improvement, whatever it is, that plan that is going on and is causing a lot of tension, does it fit in the existing plan? Or it is one of such things that the investor just took upon himself? I'm saying him because I have read and heard that it's a he. So if he's taking upon himself to develop on his own because he has the money, there's a system failure because he's not adhering to the existing plan for the drainage of the whole city. Not just because it's all connected, it's interconnected. And you know how the water flows, the runoff, the water management experts will tell you that the terrain matters, the connection of the flow, and the condition of the maintenance, the clearing, also dictates how it should function. So for me, it is wrong in a way that there is a law, there's a procedure, there's a plan, and if it is standing alone, definitely it's going to backfire. It has to be connected to a bigger drainage system. The other wrong thing I see is planning or physical planning, urban planning, even rural regional planning. It should be a public sector driven activity because the law should lead this process. It's legal. It's a legal process. That's why you don't see it being privatized, that you should plan for a city and this is your mandate as a private company, private firm to plan for this city. You are the one to regulate. So you're supposed to do it for the citizens. So how was this factored in this process, in this discussion? And it's not just that because there's climate change. So we have the problem of the global challenge, climate change, which is global, but we also have our own underlying issues from history, from the growth of our city, from the behavior of the investors, the developers, and also from our own enforcement and compliance mechanisms. So when you couple those two, climate change and the existing scenario, it becomes really too heavy, and we should not be surprised by what is happening. And also when you look at the difference between our capital and other cities, you still see that people are more interested in being here in the capital, are more interested in investing here. But what is the public sector doing? I mean, when we were at the board, we encouraged local governments to have fiscal development plans. We encouraged them to employ fiscal planners so that we could see more planning coming up, and we support the system to kind of offload and release the pressure outwards. So I think these things are related. And right now we are discussing drainage because of the rains. But you can see that traffic congestion is also, it's another thing. The city is having a lot of big issues to deal with right now because of the density of the intensity of activities, the pressure, and also I think the resources have to be kind of increased intentionally. The prioritization of physical planning. If you look at the issues around physical planning, That's why when even a building collapses, they quickly run to the physical planner, because it's about the location, the suitability, the ecosystem, the job creation, the society. There's a lot that is not going right now. And it's also because of the metropolitan growth, the sprawl. How can we ensure that our drainage is linked across the boundaries of KCCA?
Right.
Everybody is pointing fingers at KCCA, but it is bigger than KCCA. And such functions or aspects of a system in a city, like drainage, transportation, utility lines, they require that metropolitan integration of work.
All right. There are some people who are out there and probably they are saying all is lost, but there are also those who are saying, well, maybe there's something that can be done. Is it too late to fix, or is it something that can be done?
It is not too late to fix. If you read about what happened in cities during the Industrial Revolution, the chaos, the disease, the sanitation issues, the overcrowding, the congestion, collapsing of buildings, the rot, the stench, we have not reached there. And what we are seeing right now, these are signs that we need to retrofit, to fix backwards, to regenerate, identify some areas that we can invest in, key areas. For instance, a transport network, transport infrastructure that is resilient, that is solid. I don't mean tarmacking a road for beauty, for functionality is what we need to focus on. Because if that road is tarmacked, it looks nice, everybody is happy, but where is the drainage of that road? How is the stormwater being managed? If it's a shopping mall, are we thinking about the stormwater? And if we look at it in that way, we can see that there are many areas to fix. Public transport is very easy to fix. Drainage is easy to fix, but we need to be intentional and prioritize, provide funding, provide capacity, but also other governance issues, like having good political will is very important for a city to achieve. It's not gone. I don't want Ugandans to keep saying that Kampala is gone, but also we should not keep all our eyes only on the capital. But it matters a lot. It's the face of the country. You come from the airport and you see how space is deteriorating in quality. So we are urban, but what quality of urban are we?
All right. That brings in the question. Like you said, we should not only focus on Kampala. We have other cities coming in different parts of this country. Well, from your assessment, I've seen you've been moving across this country. Are we moving according to plans? Are we doing the right thing? Are we learning lessons from the challenges that are in Kampala to avoid a similar situation in those cities?
There are two scenarios. There are places that already had plans, and implementation of those plans is ongoing. And there are those that did not have plans, and the plans came after these developments had occurred. So in the case of the new places that have plans, like Arua City, Jinja, Gulu, the cities that have new PDPs, and several other town councils that we were able to approve under the National Fiscal Planning Board, the challenge that they are facing now is how to work backwards to ensure that the existing developments are legalized in the existing plan, the current plan. The new cities have a higher advantage of avoiding all these issues. But we have also seen that some new cities are having these problems coming up. If you see, for example, the issue of Gulu, the drainage, the wetland that was being discussed, which I don't know how far it is, whether it is in court or... You just see that there's an establishment in a wetland. And this particular developer apparently did not get any approval. And he got a NEMA approval, and he decided to forget about those conditions that NEMA usually gives when they are issuing that certificate. He did not do anything about them, but he did not get permission. So you have in the new cities such scenarios happening, and this is very unfortunate. Now, for a city like Kampala, someone will ask you, mine was according to the plan. Now what should I do? Because the times have changed. So the challenge is right now to plan, first of all, to plan. Every local government, every town council must be supported to have a plan. Then for those that have to be retrofitted, it is always very easy, because in the first phase you have to map the land uses that are there, and you see the dominating land use, how to categorize them and ensure that there's a plan that is being implemented. But what I've realized, if we go with the road network layout, it will help us a lot in future to have coordinated developments, something that looks orderly, and also compatibility factored in. So the question you're asking is, I can only answer it that there is urgent need to plan, but urgent need to correct, and if it means demolition, we should demolish, and because we are going to enable compliance and enforcement have an effect. But if everything is left to exist, even when we know that it is illegal, someone has no documents and things are coming up. And this really was Kampala's problem, that everybody took over the role of planning for themselves. And right now, the law is in place, but the enforcement is missing. So is it the lack of enforcement support, or there is complacency? Is it that the citizens have also decided to do their thing because they are seeing that everybody is doing what they want, and now no law is being effected, you know? So if, for example, you say vendors should get off the streets because of the trade order, there is a lot of informality in other areas in housing that is going on. There is a lot of informality in transportation. So identifying this one area is kind of discriminative, and it will not give us very good results that we want to see a good city working, functioning very well. People should be brought to book, and if it is a demolition, there should be a demolition and it should be seen. This will send a very good message to the non-compliant citizens or developers. But there are also other administrative faults in the offices. I have heard that people's permits are taking forever to come out of offices. So what should this developer do if there's a delay? Why is there a delay? If the delay is caused by the developer by not submitting some documents, that is something that has to be dealt with the sensitization, for example, education. But if the delay is from the regulatory or planning authority, I think that's something that requires, again, a harsh a way of addressing it so that it's fixed. Because if you play with the planning system, the way planning works, there should not be, I know you, you know me, they know me, can I have my petrol station here? You call whoever. That should never happen, because it will be seen on space. You look through the window and you see that this building has an approval, but it was not supposed to have it. Or this person did not listen. So I see that we have a lot of work if we want to correct, to actually demolish some of these structures.
All right.
Because it is even going to be more expensive, like you're saying, the floods affecting the citizens. What should be destroyed? I was in Berlin recently, and it's like a construction site. But you can look at it and you think, there's nothing wrong happening. Why are they fixing this? But that's how a city should be. There should be works checking the system. Is it still serving the same capacity, or it has been overwhelmed? Can we widen this? Can we expand this? So that's how it should work. And I think that's where the big gap is, which should not be spread to the new cities of this country.
All right. Spectrum